Hello everyone, it's Menenberg. If you're watching this, that means it's probably Friday, and that means it's time for another episode of The Worst. If you haven't watched this show, I'm basically going to rant about something that's been bothering me for whatever length of time, and I'm going to say it is the worst. Now, before you get all up in arms and write me an angry note or email or comment, understand when I say the worst, I am using exaggeration. I am not actually claiming that this topic, whatever the topic is in fact worse than death or suffering or racism or any other number of subjects. It's simply something that's been irritating me lately. Okay, so that aside, let me just introduce our topic for today. Meetings. Meetings, my friends, are the worst. Now, if you're young and you're a student, you probably haven't been in a whole bunch of meetings, but if you're perhaps out of school or maybe have had a job out in the real world, or if you're old like me, you've been in a lot of meetings. Now, I don't know how those meetings looked, but I can tell you from my experience, I've been in numerous different industries, from food service to sales to education to a whole bunch of different things. Every industry, every company, there's some kind of meeting that has to take place. I don't know why that is. I don't know who wrote that rule back in the day, but it's just the reality that we live in. Meetings are a thing. Now, in today's situation with the lockdowns and the pandemic and everything else, many of those meetings are now online. They're video meetings, and that's cool technology. Let's just acknowledge it's pretty cool that we can actually, we can talk to somebody, we can see somebody who could be thousands upon thousands of miles away. That's really cool. However, let's just take a step back and look at the concept of meetings for a second, okay? They're the worst. And they're the worst for so many reasons. Let's start with the reason that they have to happen. It's a necessary evil. Whether you're running a company, you're in charge of a team, you're, a teacher like myself, you know that you gotta do these things in order to get people to do what you need them to do and to get things to happen the way you need them to happen. So it's kind of necessary for whatever reason. I don't have a solution to get rid of meetings. So knowing that they're a necessary evil kind of makes them the worst already. But then let's just face the facts, okay? So we got to sit through them, and whether you're like me or not, you don't love being in a meeting. You probably don't love running a meeting, and you certainly don't love that you have to go, right? You probably like that in some way, shape, or form. But now, as a teacher, I have to click a box now that says schedule meeting every time I want to have class with my students. And a part of me dies every time I click that button. And the reason is because I know myself. I know how I feel about meetings. I know how most people feel about meetings. So I can assume that my young students who are 15, 16, 17 years old probably feel pretty similar about meetings. They're not thrilled with them. But now, and don't worry, this isn't a total rant about remote learning again. However, I have to say that now with technology and their ability to click, I'm turning my camera off, click, I'm turning my microphone off, I can assume as the person running the meeting that very few people are actually paying attention to the meeting. And it kind of bothers me. It's the worst because look, I know what I do when I'm sitting in a meeting, when I'm an attendee. I like to look at the clock. I like to wait till it's almost over. I do participate. I do listen to the extent that I need to, but I also don't like it. I don't like being there. And I'm not saying the information isn't important. I'm not saying I don't feel sympathy for the person running the meeting. I'm just saying I don't like meetings. And now that class, my job, is a bunch of meetings, it kind of makes everything that I do a lot like a giant meeting, which isn't great. In fact, it is the worst. And I look forward to the day where our class is no longer a meeting, it is class. And there's a difference, my friends, because even though young people under the age of teen by law have to physically sit in those seats, otherwise stuff happens, it's changed, it's different, it's more interactive, it's more engaging, it's more fun to do this if it's not a meeting, okay? You can't turn off the camera, you can fall asleep probably. I did it when I was in high school, but let's face it, meetings are the worst. I have to go to some today, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not, okay? We get sent the agenda, here's what's going on in the meeting. And even if it's a very detailed agenda, I'm just looking at that thing while the meeting's going. Okay, we got 2 of them done. We got 1 more. Almost over. Please finish soon. I got other stuff I gotta do. Okay? I want to hear from you though. I want to know what you like or more likely hate about meetings. I also want to hear what was the best meeting that you've ever been to and why was that the best meeting that you've ever been to. I'm guessing someone gave you money or somebody gave you something for free during that meeting. There might have been really good food at the meeting. That would have made it a good meeting, right? Food? But let's be honest, that's not happening with class. That's not happening with your company meetings, generally speaking. So I gotta assume that many of you are sharing my feelings about meetings being the worst. Please let me know how you feel. I want to hear from you. Also, if you have any ideas for what you think is the worst, please let me know. I may have a lot in common with you and I might want to rant about the same very thing. So please let me know how it's going. I hope you're having a good week. Have a great weekend and we'll see you next time for the worst. And remember, my friends, life is about choices. We'll see you next time.